We are live.
We are. Welcome to KNMC 90.1 FM. This is
Average Rants.
That's right.
We need a jingle.
Almost like we planned to say that.
Almost. We don't plan anything.
Well, I got to do the community calendar, but I'm not going to read from this. There are clearly baseball games happening today.
Softball tournament, I believe.
Yeah, so should go out and support the local youth. It looks like. I think it's youth, isn't it?
No, that would probably be adult.
Is it adult? But I saw like.
I have no. Maybe read the community announcements.
I couldn't see it in there. That's why I'm a little upset.
I have no idea if it's.
I'm pretty sure that it's the North Stars because I did see.
North Stars are baseball, not softball, and they play. They play up at the field next to us, so that's a softball complex.
Yeah, there was something going on up there.
Yeah, they don't play baseball up there. The North Stars play baseball.
Yeah, there was at that complex thing up by where I live. There's a baseball diamond.
That I thought you were talking about the one on the way out of town.
Oh, that's probably an adult thing.
It's an adult softball tournament.
We did see like a bunch of buses with team names on it.
There was an alumni game this weekend too for former North Stars against the new All Stars. The former All Stars lost by 1 run, I believe. I think it was like 5-4 or something like that.
Well, were they like 50?
No, in fact, Nate Baltrish is one of them. We play hockey with him.
So like 50.
He's not 50. He's in better shape than you are. Which isn't hard.
No, it's not that hard.
Which isn't hard. You're round.
As I'm eating a gummy bear.
And a Milky Way?
Yeah.
And slurping some Mountain Dew. We're tip-top shape.
But no, there is clearly baseball going on that can be watched. And it's such a nice day. People should be outside.
Right.
Enjoying that sun.
Yeah. It is a beautiful, beautiful day today. We should have played some golf. We're going to go play tomorrow, though.
Yeah. Well, it would have been. I feel like it would have been packed today.
I don't know. Everybody was camping because the weekend was really nice. I don't know. It may not have been so bad.
True.
Because there were a lot of people out there camping. Like as the weather gets nice and people are getting more and more open to going out around here. So things are moving.
I'm a little upset now that we're inside.
Right?
Talking about how
nice it was outside. That's all right. We're going to go home and eat some some fancy tacos.
Yeah, don't say special there. It's people might send somebody to come check on us over there.
Right. They're fancy tacos.
Special tacos.
They're fancy.
Air quotes.
They're very good.
So, I mean, on different kind of news, we have something extremely exciting to me going on.
What's that?
It's a little exciting for you. It is the Stanley Cup playoffs.
It is the What's the score?
Well,
nothing.
No, it's nothing. Nothing at the end of the second, and Minnesota's on a power play.
So,
but for anybody that does kind of follow it so far, we have Washington is up by 1 game against Boston, and then today we had New York Islanders beat Pittsburgh Penguins, so they're up 1-0 in the games. Best of 7, the way it should be.
Right.
I still, one of the things that bothers me about football, and I get it for like college and stuff like that, but when it gets to the NFL, I'm really confused how it's 1 game and done.
The game takes a toll. It's a rough game. Like I mean, falling down on the ground, getting slammed, like 225-pound, 250-pound dudes falling on you every few seconds gets a little rough. Don't get me wrong. I play hockey. Hockey could be a rough sport. Football is a little bit harder on the body, but hey, the season would just go too long, and I don't think they've talked about, and they did actually extend the NFL season this year. They're playing 17 games instead of 16 games, so they shortened the preseason and stuff.
They shortened the hockey season this year.
Well, that was COVID though. To make up, because they didn't want it to run long again. Like last year, playoffs ran into what, August?
Yeah. Well, that's because everything got shut down in the middle. But it was, hockey is really fast. It's a really fast sport.
It is.
And they played 82 games normally. And this year...
I thought it was 86.
It was 82.
Is it 80?
Yeah, 82. And then this year they only did 56. And
Well, but then you have to add on the playoff games, which is best of 7, and you're playing 4 rounds, right? Best of 7. So if you go 7 games, that's an extra 28 games per team.
Oh, yeah. And then not only that, overtime doesn't count towards anything, right?
No, like that ridiculously long 7 overtime game that happened last year. Oh my god!
20-minute periods.
I watched that whole. I listened to most of it because I was coming in and out of town. It's beautiful out summertime, and I'm like, man, this game will be over when I get home. And I got home, and it was like in the 4th overtime, and I watched 2 more overtimes before it finally finished. It was crazy.
Yeah, that would be a pain.
And then they had to play again the next day.
You sleep well.
They played 3 games in one game, basically 3 minutes or 3 games worth of time in one game. They played 180 minutes. It was nuts. Ugh.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I really like hockey a lot.
I know. I'm gonna plug a couple other sports every now and again, just like baseball. Here we got some pretty good baseball games going on. Yeah, MLB. Get out and watch the baseball. You like baseball? I really like baseball.
I like playing it, but I think we've had the conversation.
It's tough to watch. I'm not gonna lie. I can watch baseball, but
man, I hate watching baseball.
Well, the rules are a little weird because the 2 different leagues have 2 different sets of rules. And although I think hockey is similar with some of its rules, isn't it?
With what? With baseball?
So in baseball, there's 2 different leagues, right? Well, in one league, the American League and the National League. In one league, the pitcher does not have to bat. In the other league, the pitcher has to bat. And it depends on who the home team is, whose rules you go by.
That's kind of weird.
It is very weird. And that's just one of a few that are out there. I don't follow baseball closely enough to know which one's the other. But they have so many unwritten rules. Like if you hit a home run off a pitcher, you're not supposed to stare him down as you run down to first base. And
that's the whole point.
But here's the catcher, and this is what drives me nuts. There is no unwritten rule for pitchers who strike a batter out and just get psyched. There's like, oh, I just totally struck you out. But there's no, that's okay.
That seems a bit one-sided.
A little bit.
Because I know every time I score on you, I just look at you and wink.
No, you usually point between your legs because you 5-hole me. And for those of you who don't know, hockey tournaments, 5-hole is a goal between the legs.
Yeah. Because he likes to be open 24/7.
I am open 24/7. Can let those things air.
Yeah.
It's warm in all that gear. So.
Well, let's get some people, because I know your wife wanted some classic rock.
She does. And go ahead and throw out in the chat if you want to hear anything special. I am following on Facebook. Not practical, but I will be. If you guys have any requests, we will certainly do our best to play those.
Let's get some classic rock that you could listen to while having a barbecue.
We should be barbecuing today. Oh, that's a good tune. Jack.
Well, I know that's working, so I don't need it.
Gonna go poop. So, what to rant about today?
Now we can listen to the music. Or do we not want to? Because then we'll get
Yeah, it will flag you unless you talk over it long enough and loud enough where they can't identify the song.
Oh, we have to just keep talking.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot that we were on video.
We are live on so we can continue our sports rant if you'd like. What other sports do you like, Barry? I know you're okay with baseball. You don't like football. That's obvious. You're from Canada,
like
so
lacrosse.
what like lacrosse, which is just field hockey, essentially.
Well, not really, because field hockey, actually, the ball is on the ground.
True.
And you're not allowed to hit each other.
In lacrosse, you're allowed to hit each other?
It's full contact, man, just
Nice.
like hockey. They wear lighter equipment.
Didn't lacrosse evolve from field hockey?
I'm not sure. I honestly don't know that.
Oh, well, if whoever's in the chat or watching live knows, feel free to fill us in, because this is Average Rants, and we don't know. We don't know.
Let's, in my opinion, I don't think it would arrive from field hockey because girls play field hockey.
What's that have to do with anything?
Everywhere I ever went, I was not allowed to play field hockey because it was a girls' sport.
But, I thought field hockey was co-ed.
And field hockey originated in England. England invented it.
Yeah, they use those weird cane things as sticks, right?
Well, because it's like a hard freaking lacrosse, like crazy croquet ball or something.
Are they shooting round porcelain balls at each other?
Something like that. I just remember that we had it in our high school, and I went to try to join the team, and they said, no, it's girls only. I was like, well, then what other sport can I play? They're like, there's football. I was like, but I want to play field hockey. And they're like, well, you have to wear a skirt. So I went and got a skirt on and came back out.
Speaking of which, that reminds me of a joke. Do you know, I'm going to butcher the joke, but I heard the other day it was kind of funny. Why is it okay to wear a kilt without underwear?
Easy access?
Because if you were wearing underwear, it would be a skirt.
It's true.
It would just be a dress.
I know a lot of girls that just wear kilts then.
Wow. just wow. We lost 2 viewers because of that comment. They're like, we're out.
Did we lose 2?
Well, we were at 4.
Sammy's lit.
How do you know Sammy's list? Oh, she is. Lacrosse was started by the Native American Indians and was originally known as stickball. I know they used to use bison poop in hockey because it froze and made really good pucks, like a cow patty. And it's readily available, so I don't know if as a goaltender if I'd like people throwing poop at me the whole time.
Well, I mean,
and
they
especially
use cow patties for hockey pucks,
right?
So.
And when it starts to warm up and that patty gets a little soft,
well, then it just smears.
And you get one in the face, just awful.
I bet you would get better at catching with your glove.
Oh God, no one shoots me glove side anymore.
I'll start shooting glove side.
You flutter glove side. You don't shoot glove side. You're just like
it's my knuckle puck.
It just like I'm watching it and I'm like it's so slow from just over the glove.
I hope I'm going to be able to pull that shot off in a college game.
I think you can. The game, like you said, is so fast.
Yeah, that when you slow it down, people get confused.
Right. Like, and I pointed it out. Now, I am by far and away from being even a decent goaltender, but I play better when I play against better opponents. Like, so I play what we call the low rec, which is our beginners who, guys who've been under 5 years, haven't played much. I seem to let more goals in against those guys than I do. I don't know if it's more or less goals, but I seem to make better saves against the higher talent.
Well, and that's pretty common. I mean, I've coached hockey, I've played hockey, and there's times that we're playing a team that is in last place, and for some reason, they're making it hard for us to win.
Is this why Toronto has a tough time in the playoffs every year?
I think so. It's a disease. You play like the competition you're up against.
Right. You get overconfident and.
Well, and you like the break. You like it slowing down a little bit. You don't want to have to put as much work into it.
How much time you got left there?
I got 27 seconds.
Woo! Before we were live on the radio as well as YouTube Live.
Not many places do live in 2 different ways and have 2 different things happening at the same time.
Due to copyright, though, you guys cannot listen to music we're listening to, which is unfortunate because it's pretty good. Pretty good. We're listening to classic rock today.
All right. That was Who Will Stop the Rain?
Creedence.
Yeah, Creedence Clearwater Revival. I don't know much about music.
I do. They were banned in the 1970s.
Yeah, see, you were around then. I wasn't.
I was not around. When do you stop calling me old?
You are older than me.
Barely.
It doesn't matter. Old is old. Could be one day, and I would still do this.
Right. I've heard of like twins, like, you're 3 minutes older than me.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't.
So what do you got for us?
I don't have anything because I came totally prepared.
Good. That makes it so that we have lots more time to just randomly talk about anything.
Randomly rant. I seen a good one the other. I had a good one the other day, and I don't remember what it was. It was
a good story.
Well, just a random rant, like things that, like I was in my vehicle driving home from work, and something just like it's one of those things that just irk you, and you're like, what the hell? Something to kind of rant about. But I don't remember what it was. I was like, I should write it down so I don't forget.
I mean, you know what I hate? Bosses that make you work while they go on vacation.
What would you know? When was the last time you worked?
I had one and I just gotten married, and I wanted to spend the first New Year's with my wife, and I had massive seniority at this place, and I was like, hey, and this was like a couple months in advance. I was like, do you mind if I just take New Year's off? And he's like, well, we'll see closer to the time. We'll see what kind of availability people have. And we hired like this new girl.
Right.
And she came in and she was well prepared. I think that's a way of saying it. Well endowed.
Oh, well prepared. Am I prepared for what? Was she going to take a test?
I was trying to think of a nice way to say it
on
the radio. And
she had all the credentials?
Yes. And this was like 2 weeks before our New Year. So I was like, sweet, she can work it. I don't need to. And I talked to my boss, and he said, it's just New Year's. I'm just going to be sitting at home. I won't be doing anything. Don't worry about it. He's like, but unfortunately, we can't find anybody, so I ended up having to work it. 2 days later, I see photos of him and other employees that said that they weren't going to do anything, plus this new girl partying at bars on New Year's. And that just... It irked me. I
just got a bit of a rant right here, and I'm biased because and don't get me wrong, I love classic rock. There's a lot of I jump the music spectrum. I like music of all genres, but it irks me that Iron Maiden got snubbed again, or Jay-Z. You can't tell me that Jay-Z influenced more types of music and bands than the band Iron Maiden did.
Doesn't Jay-Z just sing rap?
He doesn't even really sing rap anymore. He's more of a label than anything.
I don't really like rap, so.
Right? But I don't mind. There's some rap out there I can listen to, like old school Coolio and stuff like that. Your wife asked what grinds our gears. But they call it the new wave of British heavy metal and who it influenced. And if you go down the list of any prog rock band, hair metal band from the last 30, 40 years, Iron Maiden is on the list. Guaranteed. Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath, Def Leppard are on the list. And how they keep getting passed over for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, it's grinding my gears.
Jay-Z got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Rock and roll.
He doesn't do rock.
No, he does not.
That doesn't make any sense at all.
No. That'd
be like me getting into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because I coached hockey.
That'd be like, yeah.
Because he rocked it.
You rocked it. Yeah.
Is that like the new... Well, I guess maybe the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now has just become the Music Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think they've pretty much combined it all. So they do have the Country Music Hall of Fame, but it's all pretty much one. But when you have a band like that that's been around for almost 50 years...
Yeah, that's got to be disheartening for them.
Right. Nobody goes out there and goes, I'm going to play in this band because I want to be in the Hall of Fame someday. But it'd be nice to be recognized as one of the most influential bands ever.
Yeah.
Because they are. Like, even though you don't listen to Iron Maiden, you know who they are.
I've listened to Iron Maiden.
Well, how often?
Like, whenever they come on the radio.
You're like, hey, I know that band.
I'll be honest, there isn't, I don't think there is a band or a singer that I will just listen to every day.
Oh, I can put a snub to that right now, Bryan Adams.
I don't listen to him every day.
But you could.
I could.
You could.
I could.
And why don't you?
You
forget to?
I don't always want music on. Right. Sometimes I like the quiet.
Right. I have music on while I'm working, but I pretty much work by myself, so I need something in the background to keep my brain from getting me into too much trouble.
Trying to find grind in my gear topics.
Grind your gear topics. So you're using that fancy new tablet you got there.
Yeah. I brought it for business. This is business.
This is business. So there's a little bit of a couple rants from us there. A little bit different than yours, but
Yeah, mine was like just a personal thing, and I really don't like it when.
well,
I was a boss, and if people would call in and they would legit want a reason to have it off, if I couldn't help them and I honestly wasn't doing anything, I would do it. But I mean, like, who really does that? Not many bosses will step in and help the employee. But I mean, I worked at a place that they legit told me when I was getting into the position that it's supposed to be 30% employee, the rest you worry about the client. And that's not the way I did it. I flipped it. I cared more about the employees than I did.
well, I know
Because without the employees, you don't have the
I
contracts.
worked in fast food for right out of high school for quite a while, and I ended up moving to like shift managers and stuff. I would always make sure that before I went on my break that all the guys that were under me got their breaks before I did, because at the end of the day, yes, I'm in charge of making sure everything goes smoothly, everybody does their job, but they are your work group are what make everything. If you lose them, you're done.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can't do anything. So you have to make sure and take care of your guys. No matter who works under you. I mean, nobody ever goes to a job where they get along with everybody.
Well, I mean, the nicer you are to your employees, the better they're going to work and make other people are happier.
Right.
So, like, even fast food, if you're working fast food, and I know some people like it, some people don't, but it's job.
Extremely stressful.
And if they're having a good time while doing it and they're enjoying themselves there, they're going to prepare the food better. They're going to enjoy talking to people more because they know that it's a place they can go.
You get better product, you get better production, you get better everything across the board. So, so if you're a manager out there and you treat your underlings like garbage and you can't figure out why they work, like they're lazy, that's probably why. Mm-hmm. People don't quit jobs, they quit bosses.
Yeah, that's true. Nobody likes to leave money, so.
I mean, I'll do damn near anything if it pays well enough.
I'll just do anything.
Because you have nothing to do.
I'm not allowed to.
This is what are you guys doing on Sundays from 3 to 5? You guys want to do a radio show? Let's do a radio show.
Yeah. I mean, I should just come and do the radio all day.
You could do the radio all day, but then you'd have no one to talk to but yourself.
I mean,
you can put me on speakerphone.
I might get brave enough to one day open up the phone line. And
we need to figure out how that works.
I know how it works, but I don't know how to delay it so that in case somebody calls and says something that we shouldn't air.
Yeah, that would be rough, wouldn't it? Because I would constantly call you from work.
Probably.
I would most tavern the crap out of you.
You're we've noticed that your warranty is about to expire.
So what we got? We got a little more music coming, and
yeah. Oh, here we go. I like this one.
For those of you online, we do apologize for copyright reasons. We can't.
Yeah, but here we go for all those
listening
FM listeners.
If you're really cool, you're listening on both. I don't know. I can't get where we got. There's salt water attached. It's pretty tasty. Not gonna lie. There you go. Steppenwolf?
Yep.
Magic carpet ride. So no, to continue on to that bosses thing, I could never take the week of 4th of July off because my boss would always take it off every year. It didn't matter. It didn't matter when I put in for it. So, and I just grew used to it. I didn't care. But if I ever wanted it off, it was never going to happen.
Yeah, I hate that kind of stuff. Pisses me off. I get so mad when, I get it. I'm not gonna lie. When I was a boss, there was times where I'd be like, "Man, I want that off, so I'm gonna take it off." But you kind of balanced it. Mm-hmm. So it'd be like, you know what? I took Christmas off. You guys have Easter, kind of thing.
I was allowed any other days of the year off, but that was just the week that they could have. But Hey, if any of you in the chat can think of any, I know your wife really hates the English system as far as units of measure. She's been wanting us to do a rant on it for a while.
Units of measure.
Yeah,
I mean, 'cause you guys
we are the English standard system, and we're pretty much one of like 4 countries that still do it, and everyone else on the metric system.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to rant about that because I don't know nothing about the metric system other than that it's all in base of 10.
Yeah. What else do you need to know?
Well, is your units of like liquid in 10? Liters, milliliters, is that all based in 10s too?
I don't know. I just know it.
Because fluid ounces are different than like regular, like not fluid ounces. Like if you get a measuring cup that you can see through, you're only supposed to measure liquids in it. It's only designed for liquids. But if you grab a measuring cup for like flour and stuff, you're not supposed to measure liquids in those. You're supposed to use your powders only. It's weird. I guess maybe that's a baking thing.
I just do it because it's easier to get
Right.
I don't want
a
little thing like this rather than putting the big cup thing.
Yeah, and I don't want to dirty 2 dishes.
That's a big thing too.
Right. Why imperial and not metric?
Yeah.
Like, because I like miles per hour. Like 5,280 feet in a mile makes a ton of sense.
Well,
right?
like the reason why I kind of like, I know how to use feet and inches in measurement, but the problem that I have with it is I'll use feet and inches when it's exact, and I have to switch to centimeters when I can't.
Right. Ours is called the imperial system. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Like I said,
Okay,
like 4.
Oh my goodness! It is literally the United States,
Liberia,
and Myanmar.
here in Myanmar.
Like places.
England has their own though because they measure in stones.
Yeah.
But there's 2 different weights of. There was at one time 2 different weights in
They
stones.
have to measure in stones because they used to throw
Well, stones used a stone, depending on where you were from, whether you were from Scotland or England, weighed different weights. One weighed 16 pounds, the other one weighed 12 pounds. I think they eventually, because England and Scotland for the longest time were oil and water, right? We're all the same country, but we can't get along for some reason. You wear dresses, we do not. Yes, you do. They're kilts. But so I think they eventually went to the same. So I think a stone is 12 pounds.
Oh no!
But that's how it was. Like here's a rock. I weigh 12 of these. Thunk.
That's how they used to do it.
Yeah, I weigh 12 stone.
Oh, you do know why like everyone hates England, though, right?
Why? Because England thinks they're better than everybody.
If you look at the earliest of our history on record, England has been the base of every continental attack.
Well, and that comes from the Romans. Because the Romans conquered England, and what was the next big power after Rome fell was the English Empire, and then France. France and England were,
Well, it was France, Spain, and England, and they all kind of had like a pissing match.
Yeah, they had a love triangle of love and hate between each other.
Well, who was going to try to find a new, quicker route to India to trade?
When all they had to do was ask the Vikings.
Yeah.
They knew.
Well, they couldn't ask them because they killed them off.
No, the Vikings killed off all the English. Let's not be wrong here. And then the Vikings got tired of killing everyone else and let's just kill each other.
No, they probably went and was like, hey, they just sit in bars too.
Listen, because look at the Vikings literally took down the biggest empire this world has ever known. They crushed the Roman Empire because the Roman Empire spread itself so thin. So they got the Mongols on one side, just from Asia, and then you got the Vikings just wiping them out, and then they're like, oh, no. We'll rebuild. We'll take it again. I like history like that. That's a lot of fun. I mean, it tells you where you came from.
I came from Canada.
You did.
My ancestors probably did a lot of things I wouldn't agree with.
Your great-grandparents or great-great-grandparents probably weren't born in Canada.
Well, I mean, I am Métis, and that's got a very dark past of how they came to be that I probably wouldn't want to talk about on the radio.
Yeah. That would explain the facial hair.
My dad looks a little bit more like it. Yeah, I still make fun of me trying to grow up.
They just can't do it. Like
Yeah, like
it's so hard.
matches.
I'm not. I don't think I have much in me, but I can't grow facial hair either. It's not just that, but I was always like jealous because I could never grow facial hair. And then as I got older, I'm like, God, I gotta shave again.
Right?
Like when you're 15 to 20 years old, you're like, oh man, I can shave. It's awesome. I got a sweet goatee going on. And now you're like, oh, it's itching, but I don't want to shave.
We should do that thing where you put the black stuff on your face and then rip it off.
The Beavis and Butthead episode where they shave their heads and glued it to their faces because they thought chicks dig beards. That's a good one.
Beavis and Butthead.
Where are you at on that?
We still got like 3 minutes.
Woo!
It's Leonard Skinner. Simple Man.
And that's not that long a song. It was a song before that was long.
Well, this one's 5-6 minutes.
Yeah. So is Carpet Ride. That was a pretty long one too.
Hey, they want a classic rock.
They got it.
It's long.
That's what she said. Not to me though.
Okay. Sammy's sending us things to talk about.
She should just come down and sit with us.
I know. I don't know why they both are here. The kids can just run around.
Like, but what could they break at school?
Yeah.
It's funded by the government. No, but yeah. What else can we?
I don't know. Sammy said to do a grind my gear, and we could probably get this one out of the way too much. But one of the things I guess that grinds my gears is, have you ever been watching TV and then a commercial comes on and blows your eardrums?
Yeah, there's actually laws against that, but a lot of people circumvent somehow. I don't know how.
Well, I mean, the laws are for...
It was really bad when we were younger, though. You remember that? Because you had to create, like, I would come home and I would watch, this is how old I am, I'm going to date myself. I would be watching, like, Batman. Like, they were airing episodes brand new back in the early 90s. And I'd come home from school and I'd be watching that. And I'd have to have the TV cranked, right? Mm-hmm. You know, all the way up, the bars all the way across. And the commercial would come on and it would just, literally, your ears would bleed. It was so loud.
Yeah. And then when you couldn't find the clicker and the commercials came on, you knew they were about to happen. Because
you know what happened when my dad couldn't find the clicker? Get up there and turn the TV down. I was the wireless remote before the wireless remote. You know, you just get up there and turn it down a little bit.
That's true. Kids nowadays are never going to have to deal with that. The big button when you clicked it actually made the click sound.
Well, think about it now. Like, we have an Alexa, right? We have the Echoes, mm-hmm. and we can have them turn on the lights. That's been around for a long time. They just had to do this. The clapper. I mean, that's been around since the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah, because they probably could have just made it. Well, it had to hit a high.
At a certain pitch.
Yeah. Wonder if you could have just been like,
Too bad Aberrant Trans wasn't around because we would have done a live experiment.
How would we do a live experiment?
We could do it in here. We just grab a lamp, put the clapper right onto that lamp, and we would be in here. We'd do it.
I'm sure we could find the clapper.
I'm thinking what we're going to have to do one of these days is a live golf round.
Here we go. We got to go back live.
Oh, we've been live. You mean live on the radio.
Yeah, well, now we're live on the radio.
Again.
That was a Simple Man, Leonard Skinner.
Before that, a little Steppenwolf. Magic Carpet Ride.
Yeah, that was good. I like listening to that.
Classic. It's where everything comes from. Like you don't have today's music if you don't have those music. That old style, because everybody comes from somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I guess I just grew up in a weird time where you had a choice of like many different things that you could listen to. Like there was new stuff coming in, or you could listen to classic rock to me is still like the Eagles
Right. Like I just said earlier, like classic rock now is anything pre-2000.
Yeah, and that's dumb. Okay,
That's how old you are. That can't be classic rock. I listened to it in high school.
I'm not classic yet. I haven't even hit the midlife crisis age. Okay?
Yeah, you are. You bought a really expensive tablet to draw on.
Because I'm in a graphic design course.
Wow.
You're just jealous.
No, I can't draw, so I have nothing to be jealous about.
I thought I did a pretty good job drawing my daughter on a unicorn.
I'd have just done a couple stick figures. It would have been great.
Well, what is this thing that Sammy sent us? Burger King sign asking 14 and 15-year-olds to work. Oh. Burger King wants young kids to work?
You can work at age 14 to 15.
But isn't there like a limit of how many
Yeah,
hours?
you can only work like 3 hours a day for so many hours. Now I don't keep up on the work laws, but when I started working when I was 17, 18, you could, if your parents owned a business, they could technically work you as much as they wanted to because they're your parents.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know how it works now. But
So this is what the sign said. It said, "Hey parents, do you have a 14 or 15-year-old? Do they need a job? We'll hire them. Ask for an application."
like when I worked as a manager in fast food in the early to mid 2000s, we had a lot of 14, 15-year-old kids. They couldn't be around anything where heat was involved, like a fryer or a steam table, but they could wash tables, they could bus tables, wash dishes, do drinks, take orders, but they couldn't do anything where there was anything like. But apparently they could wash the knives.
Well, I don't know. Like, I think my biggest thing is I don't feel like you should have a job, like an actual job, until you're almost done high school.
Well, I guess it
Like,
depends.
you should have like a little part-time one, but I always feel like it should be like I remember I worked at the garden center in the summer at an IGA in my hometown. But I didn't have a full-time job.
Well,
And it wasn't until I think it was grade 12 when I was working as a waiter.
here's my take on it. I started working when I was 16, I think, 16 or 17. I don't remember. That a long time ago, because you keep pointing out how old I am. But I think it should be up to the kid, really. Like, your parents can be like, "Hey, yeah, you can work, but I'm not going to force you to work. But if you want a phone or a car, I'll help you out. But if you're going to drive it, I'm not going to fill it full of gas every day because you're going to either A, have to get a job to do that, or budget somehow."
I think the problem I just have with it is,
But
I'm a different case because I'm not able to work like I want to right now.
Well, let's look into the future here. So 15 years down the line, when your daughter's in the workforce, 10 years down the line, and she's like, "I want a car and I'll work for it." Would you tell her, "No, I won't let you get a job"?
Well, it would depend on where.
Now, but here's the thing. If you're going to get a job and you're going to earn this car, your grades have to stay up. Okay, you can't let anything else fall, right? People are calling you.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Because everybody we know is watching or listening.
Yeah.
3 people.
My mom just tried to do a call-in.
Your wife worked when she was 14.
Well, I mean, I did. I worked at a garden center.
Child labor laws vary from country to country, though. So,
But the big thing is I knew we couldn't work full-time, and
right.
when I worked
And you
there,
should.
it was because my dad knew the guy and got me the job.
Right.
It wasn't like I didn't know anybody. My family didn't know.
But and I recall this. I thought it was great to work. First of all, I got to work. I met a lot of cool friends and stuff that I'm still friends with today because of that. But I had money, man, and I grew up in the glory day of video games. Like, Nintendo 64 had been out, PlayStation 2 had just really hit the market, and if you wanted an Xbox and all that stuff, if I wanted any of that stuff, I had to pay for it. CD, like nowadays, kids aren't going to know what it's like to have to go out to buy a CD. I mean, you got to go to the music store. You remember go to like Stam Goodies and stuff like that, where you went to music stores? They're gonna look at you like you're nuts. You mean I just can't download it off iTunes? Well, you could.
Right.
But I used to go, like, here, we had a music store here in town, a local one. Man, I would go down there and just flip through CDs. Like, just see what I wanted. We interacted with people.
Yeah.
And if they didn't have a band or a CD you wanted, you had to wait for them. We had to wait a whole week for the next week's truck to get in, for our CD to get in. Or record or whatever.
I miss being able to rent games.
Oh, man, I remember we rent PlayStations. You had to flip them up. They all come with like a handwritten sticker on them. Play on side, so you'd have to turn the console so it was vertical on its side. It was the only way that it would play, or you had to turn it on its top.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so weird that nowadays, like, I don't even think you could go rent. Like, could you imagine renting, what is the PS5?
I think, and I might be wrong, but didn't like the last Blockbuster that existed just recently close?
There's still one Blockbuster left.
Is there one left?
There's one left.
Because I know that there was like one that was somehow hanging on to the threads of life. I don't know how.
There's one, and I guess because it's just people. I think people just like the old time nostalgia of doing it.
Well, and we replaced those. Like, we replaced Blockbuster videos with kiosks. But here in the States, I don't know about Canada, the kiosk thing is a huge, like, holy crap, you can buy that in a kiosk. But if you go to Japan or China, they've been selling everything out of kiosks for decades. Like, hey, I need a beer. Oh, there's a beer vending machine right there. I need a new phone. It's right next to the beer machine in between the and you could buy anything out of a vending machine.
Yeah, literally anything.
Anything. It's great. It's like, and they've been doing that for decades. That isn't new. We just never got into it.
Well, it takes the right type of market, right? Like China is so packed full of people that
Larger workforce.
It's easier to get people to buy stuff on a whim.
Well, it's impulse buying is what it is. Like, it's crazy because you and I go get snacks before we do our radio show, right? Well, you're standing in line. Everything that's placed there is always marked a little bit higher than the stuff's in the actual aisle because it's meant for impulse buying. Mm-hmm. So they get the extra 5 or 10 cents out of you because you're buying it as an impulse buy instead of a planned buy.
It's the convenience fee.
Your product placement. Like, why is a laptop that does everything that my desktop does $400 more? They're the exact same thing. Well, because I can carry it places.
Yeah. And then it heats up in your lap when you try to play games too much.
Mine's got a sweet little fan I can plug in that keeps my legs from frying when I do that. Yeah. I would not use that vending machine. There are vending machines in somewhere. She didn't type where, but they sell used women's underwear.
That's in China. China, Japan.
There ain't enough bleach in the world, man. If you were at my house and you ripped your shirt or got something really bad and you're like, hey, you could borrow one of my shirts, but you're not going to wear one of my pairs of underwear, no matter how clean it is.
You know, I've done that before where, like, you had to borrow friends.
It just feels weird, though.
It does. Especially, like, if you're like, hey, let's go.
Only for guys, though. But you and I have both noticed that our wives will go to clothes swaps.
Yeah.
And it's like Christmas time.
Oh, yeah, they come back, they're like, look, I got this new shirt. I'm like, no, that was used. It's new to you, but it's used.
And I got no issues with that. That's what they like to do. But for some reason, guys find it weird.
Yeah, I think it's because I know how much I sweat. So I don't want to deal with,
your man sweat in there? That's, My man sweat has been all over that shirt, Yeah. It's for...
apparently, I'm getting one of my friends here sending me an article. Apparently, there's puppy vending machines, too.
Sweet! You can buy a puppy out of a vending machine?
So you go to a vending machine and you select it, and your puppy will be sent to you in seconds.
Cars! They literally do it with cars. I mean, like, COVID was a big thing for that. Now you can buy cars out of vending machines.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a pet store where it's like a vending machine that has little dogs.
But the issue I see with that is like, how do you vet the owners? Like, this dude is gonna buy, like, they're gonna start their own puppy mill with a dog.
Yeah, well, you can't. But I mean, like, heck, if somebody wants to start a puppy mill, they're going to start a puppy mill.
And they're gonna figure it
They
out.
just have to go anywhere around and just find a dog that's not.
Here it's not that hard.
Yeah.
Stray dogs run around everywhere.
There's in my neighborhood there is this black dog, like a giant one, and it does not look like it looks friendly, but every time it gets out and it comes near me, it growls and barks at you, and I'm like, this thing could kill me. It's so big. So I have to yell at it and I charge at it like I'm gonna beat the.
You gotta be big, man.
Right.
Make yourself bigger.
You know, I just bear it. You know, poof out the chest, suck in the gut a bit. Well, actually a lot. And try to scare it because I'm like, what am I gonna do? If this dog does anything, it's gonna outpower me, no problem. And I've seen the owner chasing it down the street so much. I'm like, you need a bigger fence, dude.
Or a smaller dog.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess that's sort of vending machines.
Well, I mean, you see it more in the bigger cities. We don't see much up here of that, though.
No, I mean, there is going to be a different culture shock. Like, I don't think.
You remember malls? I mean, we have one, but
I kind of miss malls.
it was a place to hang out.
Well, and I know Vancouver still has one. There was a big mall there. And,
The Edmonton Mall is still there.
It was just nice, too. It was almost like instead of going to a track to get a walk-in or going for a hike, you could actually just walk around a mall and window shop while walking, but not actually buy anything.
I could shop without buying anything. That's easy enough because I'm broke. But
You got your sugar, mama.
yeah, I do.
Come on, you randomly picked up a pair of shorts and then went, and when they scanned them, you were like, whoa, I didn't even realize those were $50.
I didn't, but I needed a pair of swim trunks. And here's the kicker. I didn't even wear them, and I still haven't worn them. They're nice looking board shorts, though.
Well, we should do a swap.
Yeah. Well, you would probably wear those because I've never actually
That's
worn
what
them.
I mean. You haven't worn them, and I'll go to Walmart and just pick
You know
them.
for a fact that my giblets haven't been in them, so you'd have no problem wearing them. That would be the weirdest thing. Hey, dude, you want to borrow a pair of my swimming trunks?
No.
Hard
pass.
I'll swim stark naked before I borrow your swimming trunks.
No, I don't. I don't know what it is. I don't want to wear one of your shirts.
I don't want to wear one of yours.
Yeah.
I mean,
first off, I'd probably rip through yours because you wear like extra smalls. Should we get some music going here?
my extra small shirt. Does this shirt look small? Maybe it's just because I'm bigger than you.
Yeah. We won't say where, though.
In every place.
Here's some music.
For those of you who can hear it.
Yeah.
Oh, when this is done, you're going to have to do the announcements.
No, is it that time?
We're just running through it today. No, and I told you on the way here today that another thing that I like that just bothers me. People who let their dogs in their driver's seat while they drive. Like we're in the drive-thru this morning, and this big black poodle has got his whole body.
I wonder if that's the dog that I
It's
talked about.
huge, sticking out of the driver's window in the
It's not
drive-thru.
like Floopy, right? It's like short-haired.
It was a couple cars ahead, but I'm just like, how could you? Why would you let your dog? First of all, your dog has to stand on you. I should get a dog lover's opinion on this, Samantha. Would you let a dog do this while you're driving? She wouldn't.
Mm-hmm. I used to too with Zelda.
You would let your dog climb all over you while you were driving.
But Zelda was a lap. She used to sleep.
But this dog was window.
No.
Window.
We wouldn't let that. Zelda used to just sleep there or sleep in the.
I don't let my dog.
Sylvanas, there's no way. No way I would let Sylvanas.
That dog eats like 16 tablets of LSD every morning and then just goes ape shit for the rest of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. We should have called her Hellraiser. That's
Right.
what we should have called her.
Man.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I know it's illegal in some places too to have your dog.
Well, I am not saying I don't do this, but everyone does. Your phone. You can't wait 5 minutes to make a phone call.
I never check my phone in the car.
You know, never. You've never. Yeah, I find that a lie because you've answered my text and then show up at my house 20 seconds later.
I stop and then I text and then I drive. And
for the law enforcement that are listening, he does. We see a lot of injuries from dogs falling out of car windows. Yeah.
She works at a vet thing.
At a vet thing. That's on the owner. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I honestly, I feel like it should be.
It sounds
if you're going to let an animal do that, the onus is on you if something happens to it. It should be almost like animal abuse.
But it sounds bad. Like, that's the best case scenario is the dog gets hurt and you don't kill anyone.
Yeah.
Because this dog was huge. I'm like, you're like, I can't see around the dog. I don't even like the little tiny lap dogs. Like Zelda used to be a lap dog before she ballooned.
Hey, she's still a lap dog.
A very round
She's
one.
just a very well-fed
lap dog. She gets any around her, she's going to high center whenever she tries to cross over things.
She looked so happy when I got home just to pick up that cord because she's like, I get to go inside and sleep.
Oh, it's so hot out here.
Yeah, and then when I said no, she looked at me with like, and then she started panting to make it be like, please, I'm dying out here.
What have you been doing? I've been laying in the shade.
It's just so uncomfortable to lay on the wood floor. I'd like to lay on my dog bed, please.
We do. We spoil our dogs.
Yeah, we have a hanging dog bed.
So do we. That both of our kids seem to think is a trampoline. Don't jump on that, please. It's not a trampoline.
Every morning when I wake up, Sammy is basically mauled by Sylvanas, Zelda, and the cat. So you want to know why she can't sleep? Because she's mauled by animals every night.
Yeah. I could definitely see that. Steering wheel, airbag, plus dog equals dead dog and driver.
Well, I mean, if it's a corgi, it'll add some cushion. This is a big ball of fur, right? I told Sammy we saw a corgi the other day on like a video.
They're so weird.
Honestly, but I was like, you know what?
You could probably spray paint Zelda and she'd kind of look like one.
She'd have to be 50 year. But I told Sammy, I was like, for
the
some
head's
reason,
off.
I wouldn't mind owning a corgi now. I've owned like the bigger dog, and I like the bigger dog a lot.
Because you can play with them and not afraid to kill them.
But the problem is I've had the bigger dog, and it doesn't stop wanting to play.
Yeah, they play until they want to pass out.
Well, like she jumped up on me the other day and like wanted to lay down. You can tell she wanted to lay down on the couch. So she laid down and I pet her, and then she was like, and just I'm like, okay, get up.
I've always wanted a basset hound with the big droopy faces. They just look sad all the time.
Batch the owner.
Right? I'm so sad today.
My wife's at work all the time after I get off work. I have nothing to do.
So I call you. That's how desperate I am.
Don't worry. Hockey season is at its peak right now, so.
You're second on my list. If I can't hang out with my wife, I got to call you. That's just due to lack of options. My son doesn't talk, so I'm like, hey, he's like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't know what that means. Usually means give me a snack.
Well, I mean, when she just wants to sit there and watch hockey, it'll be all good.
Your wife wants a golden retriever.
Yes, she does want to go out. I mean, I'd take a husky, but we need a bigger yard.
Up here's tough for a husky. It's warm.
Well, I mean, you could shave it.
That's not good for him, though.
What's he gonna do?
Ask your vet. Should you or should you not shave a husky?
You know, she can say whatever she wants and be my dog. I could make it look like a poodle.
It is so hard on their coats, and it ruins them.
But, I mean, we had a husky in this kind of weather.
You know, you just got to get a pool and put a little water in it so they can get cool.
I used to take mine down to the river.
My mom had an Alaskan Malamute. Oh, yes. When should you shave a husky? Never.
She doesn't know. She manages vet clinics. She doesn't. She's not a vet.
I imagine she had to go to some sort of school.
I don't know. I'm just making stuff up because I don't know.
that, and they look stupid when you shave them.
Yeah, it does.
Take my dog, for example. She's got something like that in her, but she's a mutt.
I don't know if I want a full-bred husky.
Why not? Dude,
Because-
you're never snowed in. Just get yourself a sled and a rope, and you're going.
It would be cool. I really like their howl, too. I like it when they...
Malamutes have the hello, they
Yeah.
talk. But, yeah, they're huge, though.
That's what my dog was like. He used to be like, "Aroo, aroo."
That's more of a Malamute thing, yeah. God, they're pretty dogs, too.
They're just so loyal.
They're as close to a wolf you're ever going to get.
Oh, I love wolves.
But you don't want to, you thought a Malamute or a Husky was huge, just get yourself a hybrid. Holy cow. When I worked at fast food, they would come in there and when I was standing, the counter would come up to about my lower chest. And this guy would come in with his hybrid. It was a wolf Malamute hybrid. He would rest his head on the counter. He was still on all 4 feet, though. And I was like, that ain't going to eat me, is it?
Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin.
Yeah, I was like, huge. Just huge. Oh, so I got a funny story, but I'll wait till we go live so everybody can hear it. My wife heard it, I think, the other day. I told it to her this morning. It was a pretty funny story I stumbled across.
Yeah, so we've got like 2 minutes
2 minutes? What are we talking about for 2 minutes?
until the song's done.
I know, but what are we talking about for 2 minutes?
I don't know. I was about to talk about how I hate it when people tell me they've got a story, but they have to wait to tell me.
Because you're like, I want to hear it now.
Oh, yeah, because I've had other things to be like, hey, remind me to tell you about this later. Like, why can't you tell me now? I was like, is it racist?
The suspense is killing you. But I want our listeners to hear it too, because I care more about our listeners than I do you. Our whole 3 listeners.
Well, they would be able to hear us right now.
Yeah,
You're
I
talking
know.
about the radio.
The
and
radio,
I
and-
bet you it's the same people listening on the radio.
And we thank them both.
It's just-
I know for a fact that your vet friend is not listening via the radio.
Yeah, I don't know.
Are you picking up 90.1 KNMC in Canada? I highly doubt it, because
You
it
can
barely
get
makes
online.
it barely makes it out of the freaking county.
Our Facebook page, I put the link to the.
I should probably check that to make sure people aren't commenting. Huh? So if you have been commenting on that, I will get to that. I doubt it though, because people don't like me. We have reached 7 people.
Dang right we have.
1 link, click. Awesome. Thanks for listening, guys. You guys have nothing to do on an 80-degree day when you should be outside playing cornhole or
They could
horseshoes
be
or something.
anywhere. And I mean,
Although with technology, you can listen to us on the go. And
I
you
mean,
should.
Sammy and I first time we played cornhole would beat you guys.
You did, because you guys are like, what's cornhole?
Yeah, we don't. I'd call it like sandbag in the whole game.
Right. Well, and the way you have to hold the sand the
The way I hold
bags, yeah, is a little interesting.
it. Well, you gotta fondle the sandbag.
Fondle the
before you
sack. That's
toss
right.
it. All right, let's just go live because the sun faded in.
And we are fading out.
There we go. That was
I didn't even. What did we listen to there? I didn't even hear.
some Led Zeppelin.
Ooh, which one?
Well, I'd have to go back.
Oh, okay. I don't hear that. Announcements.
It was All My Love.
Oh, community announcements.
Oh yeah, we're at the top of the
Top
hour.
of the hour.
Oh well, you're listening to Average Rants here at KNMC 90.1
That's a rant for us, isn't
FM.
it?
Oh yes, that is.
We're gonna get so much trouble for that one.
But yeah, so community calendar, baseball things are happening today.
Get up to a baseball time. There's baseball at pretty much any one you go to. I think the softball complex has got stuff going on today, and I know for a fact Legion Field's probably got a ball game going. Get
I
out there
mean,
and catch a
even
ball
if you
game.
just want to go up and take a peek and just see what's going on, it's
Right.
good to support it. I mean, especially if there's a kids thing going on. I remember when I was a kid, didn't matter what sport I was. If there was 10 people in the stand, you're like, oh, that's cool. If there was 20, it felt like there was 100.
There's nothing like playing in front of a crowd. Like, we play a lot of hockey, but we do a lot of scrimmages, right? And the only people watching are your buddies that are on the ice with you and the dudes on the bench, right?
And the occasional wife
or girlfriend when you try really impressing her, Ryan, and you play like absolute crap the whole game. We know Ryan's not listening, but he should be.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah, get out there and support. But there's nothing like it when you hear that roar of the crowd when something cool happens and you're out there. It's. Some people say they can't hear the crowd. I think it's most parts of the game you probably can't hear them, but in them big moments, I think you can. You know, you could feel it.
The biggest crowd I ever played hockey in front of was probably around 1,000 to 2,000, and you knew they were there.
Oh man, it makes the whole place just rumble. But we played the Hell Freeze hockey tournament the last couple of years, and you could feel it.
Yeah, you can tell. Like even though that one's smaller, it's usually just the hockey teams.
But the building is so small and compact, and you could just feel it.
Well, I mean, we were doing the radio, the podcast stuff, kind of stuff,
right?
And we aired that, and you could hear it in the mic. You could tell that there was people there.
I filmed that shootout game that was just absolutely crazy. Me and Thomas did the call on it because you were on the ice for that game. No, you were waiting to go on the ice for that game, and you watched it behind the glass, and we were right above watching the shoot. And I just wish we had a camera for the other end of the ice. What I think they should have done for that though is brought both goaltenders to the one side.
Shot at the same side.
Right. I think that would have been, but they didn't know we were filming that. But I think for next year I might bring that up. Hey, if we get into shootouts, can we just pick one side of the ice, and that way we can get.
One time, but next year we're having 2 cameras.
Third.
Let's do 3. Let's even get the rotating one.
Right, and we could broadcast that live over 90.1 KNFC.
Yeah.
No, we couldn't because depending on the time of the day.
Could figure it out.
We may have a language barrier.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm not allowed to say the things I was saying.
There may be a little bit of alcohol involved in most of those games, but definitely get out and support your local kids, even your local adults. Support everything.
It is fun to watch. And I mean, some people, they might look at it and be like, oh, well, that's not like a professional kind of thing. But I mean, you go out there and the atmosphere makes it so that you enjoy it.
It's fun.
As long as you go there thinking, let's give it a shot.
And if anyone out there is interested in 2 really bad softball players, Barry and I are always available.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, we could announce play-by-play while waiting to go up to bed.
We're going to switch the batting order around so you guys get to stay on the bench. You have any orange slices?
Do you have a tangerine?
I'll be that dude in left field or right field with the beer dispensing helmet on.
The modified one, though, that can take the bigger cans.
Oh. Why is he off kilter? I don't know.
Well, one's empty.
But, yeah, so get out there, support your local sports.
Yeah, I guess that was our community calendar. Because, I mean, I could go over some other things.
Yeah, we got them the library reading for the kids at 10 a.m. every day, isn't it?
It's pretty, every day. Well, every other day. So it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I believe.
Yeah.
But I think on a day like this, people should be kind of...
Be outside. Put down your phone for a few minutes. Go outside. Catch a ball game. Something.
Man, yeah.
Run through the sprinklers.
People would put down their phones more. I am...
We're all as bad as everybody.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everybody.
I'm not saying that I'm an angel when it comes to looking at my phone. But I know that I don't want to. It's like if you get that little lull of nothing happening. I remember back in the day when there was that lull and everyone was like, oh, did an angel fly by or something? Because there was that little hint of quiet. And now when you get that hint of quiet, everybody just grabs their phone because they need it.
And it's so bad that people are addicted to their phone so bad that they think they hear their phone go off and it really doesn't.
Oh, yeah, I get that weird vibrating feeling in my hip.
And you're like, oh, I think my phone went off, and you check, and like, nothing happened.
No, nobody likes me. I have not been messaged in 5 minutes.
Yep.
I get more messages on the day that we do our rant than I do all week.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that from me?
It's from our wives.
That is true. Telling us to shut up and play more music.
Yeah. She hasn't said that today.
No, well, kind of.
Oh, she did? I missed it.
But But I was going to tell a story, an interesting story that I came across my news feed the other day. It's not a rant or anything. It was just kind of a funny story. This lady, she's a bit of a hypochondriac, and she was having stomach pain. So it's a TikTok, it's a viral TikTok thing. So for those of you who are on TikTok, which I believe is about 99% of the population, just minus you and me.
You sent me a TikTok the other day, and I couldn't look at it because I have to download it.
No, well, that's weird because I can do it and I don't have TikTok.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe it's because your phone's stupid.
Because my buddy had to send it. I actually just downloaded it so that I could watch these stinking things that people keep sending me.
But anyway, she's like having stomach pain. So she's like, the doctors can't tell me what's wrong. They've done blood tests, they've done everything. So I'm going to do a little bit of, this will lead into a rant, a little bit of self-doctoring. I'm going to Google my symptoms. And so she's like stomach pain and nausea and all this stuff. And the top answer is prostate cancer. So she's like, well, I'm going to make another quick appointment with the doctor and see what they say because I don't want to, maybe Google maybe gets it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So she makes an emergency call, gets into the doctor, and she gets in to see her doctor. And the doctor's like, well, we've done every test we can. We've checked all the blood tests we can. We can look a little more. And apparently he just kind of got this like, well, what do you think it is? And she's like, well, I've done a little bit of self. We've all Googled our symptoms.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that you have. Everybody has. But she's like, I put all my symptoms in, and I think I have prostate cancer. And her doctor just gets really silent for a minute. And she's like, I've hit the nail on the head here. I have prostate cancer. It has to be. And then I guess he just started laughing. And she's like, well, what's so funny? And he's like, you can't have prostate cancer because you don't have a prostate. and it's a TikTok video, and she goes into the video and she's like, well, I just didn't know. I thought apart from the major differences in the male and female body, we were all the same, which we all know is not true. The male and female bodies are just way different, right?
To a point, but did you know that? Because I had to take a little bit of that sex ed in my health and wellness class, and this was a cool thing that I never knew about. But both the genital regions are like the exact same; they just form different.
Uh-huh.
So each part is actually similar to another part.
They fit together.
But at one point, we all looked the exact same until that choice was
until genetics kicks in. But the poor woman, and she was self-admitted a bit of a hypochondriac, was so embarrassed by this, she actually changed doctors. Like, why? Like, I remember younger, it was always embarrassing to go to the doctor for certain things because you didn't want to be stupid. But go to the doctor. Like, if there's something wrong with you and you don't know what it is and it's strange, go see a doctor.
Yeah, I mean, I am not shy about anything. The only thing that I still have not.
I feel so bad for doctors who have looked at me.
I've never been able to do the cough thing.
Turn your head. I did that once for a female doctor, which was really weird. I didn't know that. I mean, it's not that I was afraid that she was a female doctor. It's just every sports physical I'd ever had since I was 12 years old was done by a male doctor.
Well, the last time I went and had to do it, and they were like, do you want me to do the cough test? And I was like, not really.
It's not really comfortable.
But they said, oh, well, you can self-do it now.
Because you know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
You're a doctor, right?
Well, no, because they said that they literally said that it's one of those things that people notice, and the whole point of the cough is to make sure nothing bulges or pops. And they're like, you would feel it if you did it yourself. So I was like, cool.
Google's an interesting tool. We've all Googled our kids' symptoms and stuff. But if you don't know, go to the doctor. They do go to me. But I'm not going to, sometimes I just believe that our doctors are actually just sitting in an office like we are right now, Googling your symptoms. It's like, where do they go? Like, you tell them what's wrong with you and they leave the room.
I got an idea. We could start a business. We'll call it Google Doc.
There is already Google Docs.
Okay, we'll have to Google Doc. Google Doc. And when people come in, we'll be like, what are your symptoms? And we'll just type it into Google. The first thing that comes up will be like,
that's got to be
looks
prostate
like you
cancer.
got cancer. And they'll be like, "Oh my god, I knew it," and be like, "That'd be $50 for our."
Well, that was the kind of that feeling that poor girl had. She's like, "Oh, I think I have cancer."
I couldn't even imagine. Every time I go and I search my symptoms, I'm always like, "Okay, no," because it's like no matter what you do, you're like, "Oh man, my eye is a little bit itchy and my finger hurts from poking it." I'm gonna look at my symptoms. You're gonna die. Oh boy.
Dude, it's just pink eye. You have a kid.
Yeah.
Why do you say that? Do you know where your kid's hands have been? Yeah, it's probably pink eye. So to everybody out there who wants to save a buck from going to the doctor, do yourself a favor. Go to the doctor.
Yeah.
I mean, it's embarrassing, but their doctor, like.
Well, I actually have a physical on the 20th.
For hockey?
No, just
to see if you're
just because our insurance gives us one free physical a year, we try to make the best of it and get that free physical.
I do the physical things. I haven't done a physical in a while though. I probably should, but
well, they don't.
The dentist one I don't do. I'm like, I don't like the dentist.
Well,
I feel worse after I go to the dentist.
I got to go back.
It's terrible.
Again. Not looking forward to it.
Well, you moped around for a month after you had a tiny tooth pulled.
Yeah. Well, now the other one hurts.
Oh, everything next to it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I've just been pushing it off. I'm like, yeah, they're fine. I'll just brush a little harder on that side.
I've been starting to put the mouthwash and let it linger there because it numbs the pain.
There you go.
Just goes away that alcohol.
And you know what? That's bad.
No, it's not. It's
fine. Because you know why you had to have a tooth pulled last year? Because you did the same thing. Like, I'm just going to let it go. It's not bothering me that bad. And it gets to the point where
tooth pull thing was...
well, it was either a root canal.
Well, it's because I bit something and it cracked the filling and I didn't know. Because it wasn't hurting. And even when I went in, he said, "Oh, it's a cavity." And then he was drilling and went, "Oh, that's a deeper cavity than I thought." And then he drilled and put it in the cavity anyway, and it made it worse.
I can't. Mouth pain and head pain. Oh, nope. No, thank you.
I mean, 100 male dentists said that, a man takes dental pain worse than...
We're all big giant.
We are.
We're so.
Well, what the weird thing is this is exactly how it is. If I blocked the shot in hockey once, and it was bleeding because my shin.
You thought your
shattered.
ankle was shattered too.
Yeah, but there was like blood coming out, and they wouldn't let me play anymore because I was bleeding on the inside. I wanted to keep playing. I just wanted to bandage it and keep playing. They wouldn't let me.
Wrap it up. I'm good.
I get home. I'm like, it hurts so much.
You got the little bell.
And even like when I did block that shot too, like my wife was there, and I was like, "Just put the skate back on. I gotta get back out. Gotta get back out." As soon as I get home,
we're big giant weenies, especially when we have a wife to take care of us or a girlfriend or something like that. We milk the crap out of it.
Yes, but I mean, I feel like that kind of comes from like I think about my mom, and anytime I got sick, it was like, just lay on the couch. I'll get you some
mine wasn't that much like that.
Mine was.
Mine wasn't. My wife is far, and you know this better than I do, that my wife is far tougher than I'll ever be.
Yeah, but she's an angel to you. She just treats you like you're the golden boy.
Well, I treat her like a princess. You treat your wife like a princess. Both of our wives are tougher than we'll ever be.
Yeah, I mean,
both of our wives, they did. They definitely did something we could never do. Ever.
Yeah, no. No. Oh, I had to test.
Oh! Hockey score update. The Wild beat Vegas in overtime 1-0.
Oh my goodness. They were watching hockey?
They should be watching hockey. And if you're not watching hockey today, you should be listening to it on your phone out in the middle of nowhere while you're out at a barbecue.
Nice. I'm glad I bet on Minnesota.
Did you?
I did.
To win the series?
Yeah.
They did that in Vegas, and Minnesota plays way better at home.
I bet for them to win just because I was like, I have a friend that likes them, so I didn't care who won.
Yeah. Let's face it, they're a Minnesota team. You never really have to worry about them. You know,
I keep forgetting that Minnesota has a team until...
everybody forgets that Minnesota has teams until they choke. Like, they're doing so good. Oh, they choked. Well, you mean, wait, when are they going to choke?
The thing I hate is, like, I really love cheering for Toronto. I've done it my whole life. I mean, my family, even my
You're from Toronto.
Like, everyone in my family.
Blue and white.
Yeah. So, but the thing I hate is if I miss a game, like, because sometimes I forget that there's one on. There's 82 usually to watch. And I hate when I'm just like, random message. It's like, hey, did you see who won last night? I'm like, I'm going to assume Toronto did it because that's why you're texting me.
Here's an odd question for you. So, like, the Leafs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't they red? Why are they blue?
You know what? Because blue looks a little cooler, and we didn't want to be like Montreal.
Is Montreal? Well, but Montreal doesn't have the red Leaf logo, though.
No, but they have the red toilet seat.
The Habs have
it looks like it's a C.
Is it? Because it stands for Canadians.
No.
The C stands for Canadians.
It stands for toilet seat.
And people
the C is silent.
Well, who's won a cup more recently? Either the Canadians or the Maple Leafs?
You know, we don't worry about the past. We think about the future.
Right. I don't even know when the last time the Habs won a cup.
I always hated that argument, too, when people are like, oh, yeah, we've won more cups. I'd be like, okay, tell me the players that are still on that team.
So was Toronto and the Canadians, were they one of the original 6?
Yes.
They were.
Of them.
They both.
Well, hockey, indoor hockey, like in a rink,
yeah,
originated in Montreal.
So the Habs have technically been around longer than most NHL teams.
Well, the Habs, as they are called now, were around at the same time.
And we're not going to get into why they call them the Habs because no one actually knows.
Well, we looked that up, and it is a weird
explanation. There's different stories, so whatever you believe is what you believe.
But, yeah. Well, we've been ranting for a bit. Let's get them some music again.
Yeah, so you can get jiggy with it.
And if you don't like the music choice, just join us on YouTube.
YouTube, and you don't have to hear it. You can hear us rant about something else.
Serious rant. Here we go. We've got, what is this? Proud Mary?
Oh, more Creedence Clearwater Revival, unless it's Tina Turner version.
Nope, it is Creedence Clearwater, whatever.
Creedence. So, for you lucky people on YouTube, I just showed Barry a picture.
We're doing that now.
Well, when would you do it?
Your son's eating mud.
I know. What kids don't eat mud other than yours?
What grown adults don't eat mud?
Like we were out at the mountains earlier, right? And your daughter got a little bit of dirt on her hands, and she refused to touch the food she was going to eat because her hands were dirty. Now, while this does help keep disease from spreading, as a kid, Barry, if you dropped a Snicker bar and it got a little bit of dirt on it, would you not eat it?
How would you see it? It's brown,
right? Like,
yeah, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know until you crunched it a couple times.
Like a rock on a pita.
Don't lie, you've done that where you drop something, you're like, it's fine, you wipe it off, and then you start eating it, you're like, it wasn't fine.
Right. So, this is a rather interesting meme. I'm going
to... That's right. I'm a basketball player now, too.
It's pretty funny. It explains itself, but you left the toilet seat up. Oh, I can't really see it. My camera sucks. But it is a picture of a vanity, which I'd imagine most guys have seen this before.
Yeah, I'm lucky. My wife is very clean.
Mine is also. But I have, like, when she's getting ready to go out for anything.
It is very packed, yeah.
But she cleans up. She doesn't leave it, right?
Like I remember when I was in college and I'd go to other people's houses for like little parties and stuff, and you go in the bathroom, and if it was like, usually it was like a couple girls living in a spot, and you go there and you just be like, how do you even know who's who?
They don't care. They're like clothes. They share makeup. Now, you could correct me if I'm wrong on this. I'm pretty sure I'm not, but they do share makeup.
That bugs me too. I would not use your lip chat.
What about my deodorant?
I'd have to be very, very desperate because let's be honest. Have you used deodorant on your freaking sack?
Spray deodorant.
Yeah, see? But it still means you gotta get close to it. It could blow off.
But would you use the aerosol type of deodorant? Somebody else's aerosol deodorant. Wow, what did we do?
We've Uh-oh. Oh. Okay.
Okay, what did you do?
Well, I don't know. I
So you really don't share. See that? I find that interesting. You're willing to share clothes, but not makeup. I wish we had a woman's perspective here that could explain that.
Well, they don't want to come on the show, and I don't know why.
because we would embarrass them.
Yeah, we would. They couldn't handle.
They would be. They're already embarrassed enough to be associated with us, and they're 50% of our of our listeners. So I find that crazy that they don't share makeup.
I don't know. I don't
Like you guys have never done each other's nails because that counts as makeup, doesn't it?
Yeah, they do share that. I think they're thinking more along
On the face stuff.
The face stuff, yeah.
But-
I don't know. I'm kind of weird though. Like there used to be a hockey commercial, and it was. I remember it was. You'd see somebody doing up their laces, but they wouldn't have the
You
shin.
can totally tell your wife is a teacher.
You wouldn't have like the shin guards on or anything.
Right.
And it showed this all being done, and the legs were all like extremely hairy, but then it goes up and it's a girl. And it was like, well, we can't grow a playoff beard. So they don't shave during the playoffs for like the girls' Olympics and stuff. That's what they're hitting at.
Well,
And I don't find that extremely disgusting.
well, first of all, women go through hoops to make themselves look great, and they don't have to.
No,
But
we're guys.
you've already said yes. We're in. But they do. They go up 100 miles. What do you do when you wake up and take a shower? You get up, you brush your teeth.
Wait, you wake up and get to have a shower?
I do. I have to. I smell really bad. I get up, take a shower. I don't even brush my hair. I look at my head and go, okay, that's good. And I throw a ball cap on and brush
I
my
did
teeth.
my hair today.
Like I throw on deodorant. I have to wear deodorant because, well, as a guy, like we've already pointed out, we don't share clothes for a reason.
Mhm.
We stink.
Very smelly.
But the whole picture in that meme though is like you like I get the female argument. Like I don't know how any guy could leave the toilet seat up. Can you imagine if you were in a mad dash to use the bathroom and you went to, and we've all done this, like where you had to use the bathroom but somebody left the seat up and you went to sit and you went
Oh, yeah.
and you touched the water like whoa.
And I think even that extra second that you have to take to put the seat down, you're like dancing.
It could come at any minute, man. I don't know.
I'm like, oh, well, my daughter must have put the seat up.
Why did you put the seat up?
She's playing with it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I get that. Ooh, short songs, huh?
Yeah, this one was Brown Eyed Girl, so.
That's Van Morrison. Very nice. Good tunes, good classic tunes today.
Yeah.
Barbecue. Sit outside, sit on your patio.
Here
Chill.
we go. Well, that was Brown Eyed Girl. Everybody knows that one. I think. Depends how young people are.
Honestly, most of the classic songs that we're listening to today, even younger that has heard because they played outside in barbecues, ball games, wherever.
Yeah.
You know, in the summertime.
You know, that is kind of like a weird thing too to think about. Is I don't know how many times you go to something and they're still playing kind of like that older music that we grew up hearing, like you know, We Are the Champions. You always hear that at like a championship game or something like that. And I wonder, when is that going to change? When is somebody going to make a song good enough? that
That's
they can
Queen,
take
man.
over?
That's tough. I mean, like,
But you know what I mean? Like,
what's
it's
the
like-
next? What's the next big anthem that's going to take over for sports?
Yeah, because like I mean, AC/DC was around before I was born,
Long before you were born.
right? And a lot of their music is still like phenomenal to people. People.
Oh,
just
you
love it.
hear Thunderstruck at any given sporting event.
But there is nothing like that anything now. There's good songs, but
Right.
there's none that feel like they're gonna last a lifetime.
Right, they're going to fade after
And
five.
I don't
10
know
years.
what changed in music to make it so that happens. Because, you know, if somebody is like, "Oh, Thunderstruck is my favorite song," that means that it's like their favorite song for life. Because I don't see something replacing it for them.
No. And it's you got like the Ramones did Blitzkrieg Bop, and then you've got I can't remember that song. But it's another one of those big anthems that are played at every sporting event, and it has been since the song came out. Like, do you think that when Queen wrote "We Are the Champions" or another one bites the dust, that they're like, these are going to be played at every sporting event from now to the end of time?
Yeah.
Or "We Will Rock You." I mean, like, most of the time when they play "We Will Rock You," it just leads right into "We Are the Champions."
Well, I think my big thing is, and I mean, this is just my opinion. Doesn't mean it's right, but I feel like music back then was made because they enjoyed it, and music now is meant to, at least at the professional level, is meant to make them money.
Right.
Because I mean, let's think about it. Like, Queen wasn't making millions of dollars for their shows.
Well, let's look at it this way. Back then, you put out, not many bands put out more than one album every year or even 2 or 3 years. Now, you're pumping out a record every 6 months.
Yeah. So,
is it just to get it out there so people can hear it?
Well, I just feel like it's a money thing. And I don't think it's always like, I'm probably making it sound like all musicians are evil and want money, but you got to remember that they also have managers and labels that pressure them into making.
I know your wife loves Taylor Swift, so we're going to go with Taylor Swift. She loves. But how many songs, how many records has she put out? And she hasn't been around that long.
No, she's put out a lot. She's got a bunch of good songs.
But she does her most, from what and I don't listen to a ton of her. I don't know. She does a lot of her own writing.
Yeah.
But for me, listening to albums, when I go back to albums that I really like, it's almost always their original album that they came out with was their best one by far.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because they spent months or years working on that record before it was released. So it's always their most polished, their best, because it's been molded over a lot longer than, okay, now you got this great record, now we have to follow it. You have 6 months to put out another record, get it out there. Well, I've been working on that record for 5 years.
Yeah.
You know, it took me 2 years just to finish that one song's chorus line. I mean, they just work on them for so long.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, that's kind of my opinion is, like you said, they had to put more time into it. And now it just seems like, I don't even know. Like, my big thing with like rap music and stuff like that isn't the music itself per se. It's more along the lines of how it's just one person talking about a story that we don't know if it is true or not, but they try to make it. Usually, they had a hard life, but I don't like that all of the music isn't done by people. It's done by a machine.
Soundboard, yeah.
And that's my biggest thing with it. For me, anything that is something that I like is you have to play it on the guitar.
And you're into that. I mean, we could do this. Are they musicians or are they artists?
I would say they're artists. They're not musicians.
Right. Now, I'm not saying rap artists can't play an instrument, but to be a musician, do you have to be able to play an instrument?
No.
I think there are some really great vocalists out there. Like, I know for a fact, like Joe Elliott, the lead singer to Def Leppard, the only reason he got the job for that band was, well, he went in and auditioned and he was singing as he was playing, and they're like, your guitar playing sucks, but you can sing. So you can play guitar on a couple of songs, but for the most part, we're going to play the guitar and you're going to sing.
Yeah, I feel like for me, music has to be created by like a group of people playing instruments. So like somebody going up, and if you're playing the guitar and you're playing it well and you're singing, then you're kind of a musician. Doesn't mean you're professional.
What about bands like the Blue Man Group who use synthesizers and stuff like that, but they put out those crazy recordings? Like techno's kind of like that.
I don't mind it, but to me that's just art again. Because anytime you have to, like, and that's, I don't always like the wah pedals and stuff like that, because I feel like you're now changing.
The original wah pedals were set so you didn't have to change guitars. Like, I want a different tuning, but I don't want to change my guitar setup. There's not time for that. So, well, I could just stomp on this little pedal and it does all that for me.
Mm-hmm. But like, to me, anything that when you do that kind of stuff, I just feel like you're now changing. It's like auto-tune. I can't sing very well, so I'm going to use auto-tune to make it sound a little different so that people like it.
Right. I know the lead singer to Disturbed. They do a version of Sound of Silence, the Simon
that
Garfunkel
was
song.
great.
They did that live on Jimmy Kimmel, and Draymond, their lead singer, said, "You better not auto-tune me. Do not auto-tune me," because he's like, he was feeling a little under the weather when he did it live, and they auto-tuned him, and he was mad because and I've seen Disturbed live. That man does not need auto-tune.
Mm-hmm.
He is by far one of the best vocalists that you'll ever hear if you get to see him live, and he was so mad that they auto-tuned him, and they didn't need to. Like you're taking away from him to auto-tune him.
Well, that's the thing I don't like about it. Like you or I, if you auto-tuned this correctly, it didn't matter how bad we were singing.
Oh, I bet you I'd break it.
And I know you don't watch South Park too much, but they actually kind of make fun of that. Where if you heard, Lorde. Lorde's like a singer, she's a female singer, but in South Park they make fun of it because she auto-tunes everything she does.
So she can't sing.
So Randy, Stan's dad, is actually Lorde and he auto-tunes his voice so much that it sounds like a girl singing, but it's actually him.
I'm not gonna lie, for years I thought the lead singer to Rush was a girl. Honest mistake. I mean, come on. If you've never seen a live video of the band, you're like, she sounds great. Wait a minute. That's Geddy Lee, the bassist, and it's not a girl.
Like, what's that song? The one that's like, I kissed a girl and I liked it. I thought that was a teen boy singing it. And then my wife was like, oh, that's a girl, right? I'm like, get out of here. That makes so much more sense. I thought it was like a teeny bopper singing that song.
Well, I think I think she was a teeny bopper at the age she released the song.
Oh, man. I just remember I was like, just some teenage boys. Because the girl be like it. That's a good thing. Go for it, man.
I do believe, though, getting back to the original subject, that the old school guys had it way harder.
Oh,
if you couldn't sing, you couldn't sing because they didn't have auto-tune. You couldn't play the guitar. Guitar is so much cleaner in your old classic rock songs. They do have distortion pedals, but it's cleaner, if you get what I mean. Like, there's a distortion, but it's cleaner. And your wife did a cover of Green Day. Well, let me tell you one thing. Green Day only plays 3 chords.
Yep.
It's just at different speeds. Every song is the same 3 chords, just at different speeds and pace. And this isn't uncommon. AC/DC did it for years. Their rhythm section was basically 3 chords, played at different speeds. And if you're good enough at it, you can make a hellaciously good living. Ask AC/DC, but ask everyone else who did it and didn't make it.
Yeah.
As long as you're the first and you sound the best, you're going to make it.
Well, it's kind of, I don't know, like you were talking, we're talking about this, and I start thinking about like athletes too, where are athletes better now than they were? Yeah, there's a lot more technology involved, but at the same time, like Gordie Howe is Mr. Hockey.
He's the greatest hockey player to ever play.
People are breaking his records now because, with time, things happen. But the issue that you got to think about, too, is he worked a second job while playing in the NHL.
He also played 40 years.
Yeah, because he played with his kid.
Both kids.
But he had to work a second job.
Right.
The NHL did not pay him enough.
One of my favorite photos is, I can't remember if it's Ken Stabler or I think it's Kenny Stabler, the old Raiders quarterback. He's sitting in a bar shirtless. He's got a beer in one hand and a cigarette in the other, and he's playing pool. You don't see modern high-end pro athletes drinking a light beer, smoking a cigarette the day before a game, right?
No.
Playing pool. I mean, you just don't see that anymore.
Well, I don't know. Like, I always feel like athletes get... So the NHL is actually one of the lower paid.
They are the lowest, as I think.
And it's because, they get their room and boards kind of paid for, they get their meals paid for.
So does every other.
Right. But then at the same time, I was like, some of them are making like $1 million a year. Let's just say simple.
The highest paid hockey player is just over 10 a year.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even play for the best team.
No.
He plays for the New York Rangers, I believe.
But I just think about like $1 million. And if you had like everything paid for except for your stuff outside of the sport, $1 million is more than enough to have a healthy living on. And I don't understand why athletes have to get paid so much.
Well, I can tell you right now that the Patrick Mahomes signed the largest NFL contract in history. It was over $500 million. But it was 10 years, $500 million.
And that just That doesn't make any sense to me. Nobody is that good.
But look at it this way. Well, is he going to transcend the game? Like Michael Jordan transcended basketball.
But he didn't get paid that much.
Wayne Gretzky transcended his game. But they did make that much probably in endorsements.
Well, that's just it. Make it in endorsements. They don't have to make it.
But the owners of the team can't go, well, you're going to make all that money in endorsements.
No, but I mean, at the same time, you give them a healthy wage. If I know it might be different if it was ever turned around, but I always told myself when I was going through acting and I was getting jobs that I would never take more than $1 million for.
My guess is it's kind of a reward because how many people actually get to be a pro athlete?
Oh, it's like 1%, if that.
Even that, like of all the people, like let's take college football because it's the biggest thing. There are thousands of colleges that have football teams. Of these teams, there are only 280 kids, 279, I think, that are drafted to go to the NFL, and then you have your unsigned. The average football career in the pros is less than 3 years.
Yeah.
And you may never even actually set foot on the field during an actual regular season game. Whoops. Breaking stuff. But I think that's enough on that.
Yeah. I don't know,
we went from rock singers having it harder back in the day, and they did. Like that's why it sounds better. Like, your classic songs are always just going to live forever.
Yeah.
To pro sports. Speaking of classics, it looks like we got a little Bob Seger coming out.
Oh, you want to hear that one?
I like Bob Seger.
What is this, Night Moves?
Night Moves.
I got some night moves.
Can someone confirm that for me?
Make sure it's playing. This is how I was in the recording studio.
You were in a recording studio?
Yeah. Once.
Bob
I didn't
Seger.
actually record anything.
Bob
I was
Seger
supposed to record in one, but.
Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band. Your wife really hates Taylor Swift.
Yes, she does.
So we need to get her on here and find out why. Has she ever told you why she hates Taylor Swift? But this is what bugs me about your wife. She's allowed to absolutely destroy and hate Taylor Swift, but I bring up the fact that I dislike Will Ferrell. And I'm wrong. I can't be right. But
yeah, of course you're wrong.
But if she hates Taylor Swift, that's completely okay.
My wife is never wrong.
Our wives are never wrong. But what's the difference? Why can't I dislike somebody that much?
Well, this was her answer. Because we're on Vogue Radio. I hate that bitch.
I know.
I just want to punch her in the face.
And that's how I feel about Will Ferrell. But every time I point this out to your wife, she's like, "You're crazy. There's something wrong with you."
That's all right.
Everybody loves Tay-Tay.
I don't like James Blunt, and every time I want to see him,
who?
James Blunt.
Who's James Blunt?
So singer that she likes, and I want to punch him in the face.
She mentioned him about a song that.
Yeah, I know. Something about champions.
Yeah, it'll never come close to anything Queen ever did.
No. But I mean, my reasons are because I have personal reasons for why I don't like James Blunt.
Oh,
is his music okay? It's okay. It's all right. It's not the greatest. But did she put him on a list? Maybe. I didn't like that.
Bucket list, huh?
Any guy that gets put on that bucket list is on my punch in the face list.
I don't know if for some reason like my wife got to go be with a really rich dude and he was going to pay her a bunch of money to do it, and I'll be like, as long as I get some money too. I'm not gonna lie,
I could do it even for money.
Matthew McConaughey's a pretty sexy dude, man. Even for a guy, you're like,
it'd be dirty money. It'd be dirty money.
Would you make out with Matthew McConaughey? I might. I mean, he's a pretty good looking dude.
But and he's cool. Out with Matthew McConaughey?
He's a cool guy. I mean, of all let's ask this question. Of all the actors that you know, who are you most likely to sit at the bar and have a drink with?
All the actors I know?
No, not personally, but that you know of. Like, wouldn't Matthew McConaughey be one of the dudes you'd want to sit at a bar and just chill out and hang out with?
Not really.
Why?
I don't know. He's probably kind of lame.
Well, why is he lame?
I would want somebody that, if I was going to go and hang out at a bar with somebody, it would be somebody that does something ridiculous that makes me be like, ha, yes.
My wife's like, "Are you pimping me out to Matthew McConaughey?" Yes, I am. And I don't think she would say no. Like, I mean,
But good. The hard part is it's easy to say it. Could you actually pull it off?
that would be the hard part.
Because for me, like,
Just like I said, that for a certain amount of money, there ain't a whole lot I wouldn't do.
at any point in a relationship, like, there's always that topic of, do you need to spice it up with like a threesome or something? And when that conversation comes up, at least for me, it was both mutual. Like
So you go ahead and finish.
well, you'd feel like even if you did it at the end, you still feel like you cheated or something, and it would, for me, just weigh on me.
So my wife's like, "Are you pimping me out?" And I'm like, "To Matthew McConaughey?" I mean, like, you'd say no. But then she's like, "For Joe Manganiello." I don't know if you know who Joe Manganiello is. You know Joe Manganiello?
Joe Montano?
Yeah, Joe Manganiello. Then yes. And I'm like, I would definitely agree to that. Have you seen that dude's game room? He's got Tiamat's head mounted on his wall. He's got a beholder hanging from the ceiling. Like, he's got the greatest game room ever. I'm like, you can do whatever you want to my wife as long as I can play in your game room. First of all, he plays D&D with Tom Morello, Vince Vaughn, The Big Show. That's his game table. He plays D&D with all those guys.
Yeah, but all she'd have to do is play D&D with them. She wouldn't have to sleep with them.
She actually got entered a contest to play D&D with him.
Yeah,
Because she
won't play with us.
Because she could take a friend, and she's like, "I'll take Sammy." I'm like, "What?" She just smiled. Or Rip from Yellowstone. I need to point out that Rip from Yellowstone is not as sexy in real life as he is on that show. In fact, he's a redhead. They dye his hair.
I don't know. It's one of those things, though. I do feel like if the situation actually came up, both of our wives would be
It would be
like,
a tough.
I can't do this.
It would be really. Would it be harder for your wife or for you?
I feel like it would be hard for her, too. I feel like she could say it, but if it actually came up and if it got to it, I would just feel bad.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, the Eagles.
Oh, yeah. Oh, nice. Which one?
The Long Run.
It's one of the best bands. Well, they are actually probably the greatest super band ever created, because every musician in that band was actually a solo artist at some point and super successful. And then they're like, "Hey, let's get together and do an album." We sound really good. Have you, like, the harmonies in some of their songs? Seven Bridges Road has got to be one of the best harmonies you'll ever listen to with those guys. I mean, it's insane.
This is a remaster from 2013.
Like, they need to remaster theirs.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's just
It's high def volume now.
It's a cash grab, too.
Yeah, it's high def. Oh man, they do that with everything now.
Right?
Like they're re-releasing games that they haven't changed anything on and charging $60.
I know. Yeah, like the game I was checking, I like, don't rebuy that game. It's the same game. They didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Although I may have to spring and buy the new
Dark Alliance 2.
Dark Alliance 2.
Yeah.
It's not Dark Alliance 2 though. It's Dark Alliance, right?
They called it Dark Alliance 2.
But it's not Dark Alliance
I know,
2.
it's
Dark
not.
Alliance 2 already came out
I know.
like 15 years ago. I know. I played the original. It was on Xbox. It was a lot of fun. It was on PlayStation.
That's good.
But you and me as Dritz and Wolfgar or something like that, or Bruner Battlehammer, that's gonna be great times.
fun.
Oh, we're nerding out now.
Yeah. We're nerding and it's near the end.
We get the last 15 minutes to nerd out. We don't care what anybody says. We're gonna nerd out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. And it's not going to cost like an arm and a leg. It's
Well, you don't have
actually
to pay to play it after you've already bought the game, which is one of the big reasons I don't play WoW.
Yeah, you just suck at it. That's why.
I don't suck. Well, I probably would because I suck at most MMOs, but actually, no, I just play a tank, then it's impossible to suck. You just auto attack and taunt.
No, there's way more to it than that now.
I draw aggro, you guys do everything else.
I deal more DPS, damage than some DPS classes as a tank because I'm good.
Right.
It takes skill. Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Feeds my ego a little bit.
I bought these on a whim. These are pretty tasty. These huckleberry saltwater cat. You ever
Oh,
tried
you should.
that?
Yeah, we should save one for my wife at least.
I'll
Because I know
save
she likes.
Yeah, my wife likes saltwater taffy as well.
Yeah. Sammy's been liking the huckleberry stuff.
Huckleberry is very good. The problem is getting it. Because it's weird. You go up to the Flathead area where they grow. They only grow on one side of the damn mountain, and at certain elevations with a certain amount of moisture. So you got to be in the right place at the right time to get them. That's also the same with the cherries that grow, the wild cherries, and it's crazy because we go over there and her uncle's got one in his yard. They pick them and they bring them down here and they charge like $12 a pound for them, right? He can just go sit in he's got one of those loungers that's right underneath the cherry tree and he can just pick them and eat them. And you're like, oh. The problem with taffy is
it just sticks in your teeth.
Yeah, you're like, I think I just ripped out a filling. So if you didn't need to go to the dentist, you really do now because that taffy's going to eat through your fillings.
Yeah, I think what happened on this one, and I'm hoping that's what it is, that when they ripped out that other tooth, it kind of irritated the filling, and they just got to repair it.
Well,
so
and
it chips some of it off.
Well, and here's the thing: they don't tell you this when they do this, but fillings don't last forever.
No, they don't.
You need to go in and have them redone and all that stuff. So
I'm hoping that's all it is because it doesn't it hurts to push on it, but not a whole lot.
Right.
It's not like the other tooth that when they pulled it like that, if I drank water and put it on it, it knocked me to my knees for like 5 minutes.
See, and people are like, "Oh, you have sensitive teeth because you have cavities." No, I have sensitive teeth. I've had sensitive teeth since I was a kid.
Yes.
Like, even my baby teeth, I couldn't stand cold on my teeth. And we're back.
Yeah, we're back. I almost missed it.
Oh, you were quick to the draw there, though.
I was.
Oh yeah. So we got 15 minutes left. What are we gonna do? We nerded out while you guys were listening to the Eagles there.
Well, we figure, most people locally probably don't want to hear us talk about video games.
But you'd be surprised how big, like, video games and RPGs and tabletop games really are nowadays. I wonder, especially since COVID, I wonder how that really affected because people couldn't get out. Like, I mean, we have our weekly game, right?
Yeah.
And before COVID, we would all go over to my house and sit around my 20-foot long table, which is that's a big table. That's crazy. But we'd all sit together and roll dice. But now you can do everything online.
And it's very convenient. That's what scares me.
Right? Like at first when I first heard it, I'm like, I could never do it that way. I personally like having everybody over at the house.
Oh yeah, it was a lot more fun. Like I got green dip that nobody would use.
Just because it was disgusting. And you sat there and ate it.
Well, I bought it. I wanted to eat it. It was bad though.
You're like, oh, you guys want some? You kept offering, and we're like,
yeah,
no.
I was like, I'm just trying to be nice. So I was hoping that somebody would like it.
But there was that whole social aspect to that typing. So, but with I mean, we play online. It's fine. It works, well enough.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, can you imagine? I mean, like, it never dawned on us 10, 15 years ago to do it that way.
Oh, we could.
Yeah, right? Like, if you tried to do, like, a video call, it was just...
It just wouldn't work. There's no thing. I remember just when that was in, like, movies. And you'd be like, what? That would be so cool. And now that it's happened, it's not that cool. It's just
right.
Sometimes I realize, like, I'm glad I don't have, like, an iPhone because they have that face calling thing. And I like it when I haven't seen family for a long time. So I use, like, just like Facebook or something. But if somebody called me every day, like, if you called me every day, FaceTiming, I'd be like, just text me.
I don't you FaceTimed me once. I don't remember why. But
I had to call you for something, and I still don't have your cell number.
Yeah,
because I don't need it.
We don't. Well, and my wife is the same way. She's like, "Why don't you guys just give each other phone numbers? We're not ready to go to that next step in our relationship here. All right, that's
a process.
Personal.
There is a process,
right? We're still feeling each other out. That sounds bad, but but like with COVID, everything's changed. Like, and some things are making a comeback. Like the drive-in movie theater. Did you ever go to a drive-in movie?
I did, yes.
Like, it was so cool as a kid. Like, the sound quality sucked because you got a little metal box. You had to put it in your car, and that was a speaker. But you got to sit, like, we went up there and we got to sit in the back of the car with the back down. Big thing of snacks and a blanket and all that. And we watched Planes, Trains, and Automobiles on the big screen. And I think some of these things are making kind of a comeback because of, they don't want to cram movie theaters. And I think we may be seeing the end of movie theaters, because COVID, everybody's like, well, you know what, we can still be, and I'm one of them, and you don't do this, but when Raya, the Last Dragon, whatever came out, we paid the extra $30 so we could watch it because my daughter wanted to watch it. Right? Yeah. That's $30 that goes directly to Disney. So Disney's making the whole $30. So when you go buy a movie ticket and you spend $15, only a portion of that, most of that does go back to the movie theater, but it's only $15. Well, they're like, well, I can charge $30. How many millions of people paid that extra money with Disney Plus to get the movie that day? Nowadays, why do we have to wait? Okay, so that movie came out. Let's just use the last Avengers movie. It came out. You went and watched it in the theater. Now you got to wait 4 months for it to come out on DVD. Why? Because they're trying to make that extra money through the sales on screen. Yeah. And it's built like you said earlier. Oh, I have a story. Just tell me the story, man. Don't wait. I want to know now. Yeah. Right?
That's right. Well, I mean, the other thing too is the quicker they can get things out digitally, there's two pros and cons. Pro for a company anyway is you're going to make more instant revenue.
Right.
But the con is it's easier to get it for free once it becomes digital.
Right. And well, I think that's a very niche thing. There are very few people who know how to regularly get that stuff for free. Most people are like, I don't want to go through the headache. The average user is like, I'll pay for it.
Getting viruses.
Yeah, I'll just pay for it because they don't know where to go. But you are correct in that whole, I'm going to go get it for free.
Well, because I know that was a big thing in gaming. There
right.
was a big thing where they were, and I mean, I knew how to do it.
But here's my deal. Why do it that way? Support the movie people so they can make more movies. If you really like the movies and you want them to make more, well, stop shortchange. No, let's face it, they're making billions upon. I mean, they sleep in piles of money. I mean, they're modern day dragons. They're sleeping in their Disney. Disney's got to be the largest company in the world because they own pretty much everything I can think of right now. They own so much.
They own Marvel now.
Well, and that's not. They own Marvel and own Fox. They own
Star Wars.
Yeah, their market is huge. So they own everything Lucasfilms ever did. They own just flipping through Disney Plus and seeing The Simpsons is just weird because you never associated The Simpsons with Disney because they're not, but they're Fox and Disney bought 20th Century Fox, so they own everything Fox.
Yeah.
But I think that we are looking at the end of an era with the movie theaters. Why would you?
Well, it's kind of like Blockbuster. I mean, when I was a kid, getting a movie and watching it, the one of the best ways to save money, was to get it when it came out on VHS, and then eventually DVD. But it was VHS, and you'd go as a family. And I remember my parents would be like, "All right, you kids get to go pick one."
Yep.
And my parents picked one.
That was in the 99-cent movie rental.
Yeah. And you go and you do that, and then you'd sit at home and watch as a family, and it was pretty fun to watch that. But then eventually they got the VCR recorders, and then you would just record the movie on another VHS after you rented it, and then eventually turn DVD. But then because of all that process, Blockbuster kind of thing went away because everything started turning to instant access.
Right. So I don't think we'll ever see drive-through theaters in large quantities again. But as far as a niche product, I think they're really cool.
Yeah. Well, I think
if you could go to you've seen dollar theaters, right? Mm-hmm. They're just really old movies, but you pay $1 and you can go watch Terminator 2 for $1 at a dollar theater. Wouldn't that be sweet to go watch it at a drive-in movie theater with your family? Just pick up any old school family movie. You're like, we're gonna go watch a movie on this screen that's just ridiculously huge for $1.
The thing that I don't like is, and I mean, I bet you our parents went through the same kind of thing that we're going through now. We're at that mid-range almost, right? And I still remember, and I wasn't a Star Wars guy. I liked their movies, but I was never really hardcore into it.
You wore a Star Trek and Star Wars costume in one.
Yeah, I did, just because I thought it was
You
fun.
knew it would irritate both sides.
When I was I can't remember what we called it, but I know that I was like, well, look, I've got my phaser, but it was a lightsaber. but anyway, like the thing that I really liked is I remember when one of the Star Wars was being released, and it was a new one, and I actually went and camped out with a group of my friends because it was a fun thing to do.
Right.
And I thought it was really nerdy and kind of dumb, but I enjoyed it because I was doing something.
It was a social event.
And you don't have to do that anymore unless it's for like the new iPhone. But even then, you could probably just pre-order it and have it delivered the day that you know.
We did I went and watched. I wasn't old enough to watch the originals, Star Wars movie. I'm not that old, as in the theaters, but I did get to see the episode 1, 2, and 3 in the theaters, and then the newer ones. I'm a purist. I like the originals. The new ones, if I'm really bored, I might throw them on and watch them. But I'm a purist. I like the originals best.
Well, I mean, we are getting close to that time. 5 minutes left here.
Leave them with a song or leave them with a rant.
Probably a rant. I don't like having a good song get followed up by random whatever is going to be on after.
That's not good, right?
Yeah. I'd rather them hear our voice than have randomness.
We have voices that you can sleep on.
Yeah. You know, if you record our shows and if you put us on volume 2 on whatever device you're using, you'll fall asleep.
Instantly.
Yeah. Boredom will kick in.
Yeah. Your IQ might drop a couple points, but it's worth it.
This is what everyone's going to do. Go home. This probably will be on YouTube, right?
Tomorrow, 24 hours. Well, it's on now. If you're watching live, you get to see it now, but it doesn't post until 24 hours.
Okay. So 24 hours from now, go home.
22 hours.
Get a bath bomb of some kind. Get some candles. You know,
Kick your feet
make
up.
a latte with a nice little hint of cinnamon and whipped cream, and listen to Average Rants on YouTube.
And tell your friends.
And you can just relax and listen to our comic voice.
Spam if you have friends on Facebook that you just like, they spam you with Candy Crush Saga crap all the time. Just plaster our faces all over their
just be
Facebook
like,
page.
you know what? Well, Average Rants.
Yeah. This is how much I like Candy Crush Saga. Boom. Average Rants. It's annoying, isn't it? Yes, it is.
We should do a quick. We should go on Facebook and find like the most commonly used ads, and we'll do quick little rants on them, so people will be like, "Oh, you're going to post that? Here's a rant."
Yeah, I could rant about that. Like, we were scrolling through your page. You have been invited to play Candy Crush Saga or Fruit Ninja, or I'm like, oh, why?
Just play them.
Just so they could get free diamonds in their game and get an extra stuff.
Oh yeah, that's like a whole.
Don't spam me.
Sammy was mad the other day.
That's an advertising ploy that works great. I gotta say, like, it does.
Oh,
but
the constantly harassed by an ad.
Yeah. Because
eventually you're just like, it's wearing me down. I might want to buy.
Fine, I'll like it on Facebook for an extra 50 points, and I can buy something useful. Fine, whatever.
I can get a retry.
Yeah.
Well,
I can respawn.
It is that time. So I'd like to thank you for listening to Average Rants here at KNMC 90.1 FM.
Average Rants.
Average Rants.
We just got to add that at the end. We have to wait, though.
Average Rants.
Average Rants. We're working on a jingle. Not at all. We should really.
We should. We both have a guitar.
But neither. I can't play I can't play anything I can't see.
We're going to start ranting. All right. Well, here you go. Back to your
regular scheduled programming. We apologize. Right now. Goodbye, and see you guys next week.
Oh, yeah.